Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crusader Kings 3 Harran, in which this series is about to be, the turning point of the whole playthrough. Because I'm about to make two very important decisions of this character, who is currently 37 years old, Malcona Babaeus, which is the man in the middle who wears what some would think is a ridiculous hat, because, that's, visiting Greek style. But then again, we're Syriac, so we tended to wear clothing that is both Byzantine and Arabic. That's just how it is. And we shall go to Harran right now. Beehive buildings. The people of Harran have many distinct traditions that set them apart from others. For example, since time immemorial, they have lived in houses shaped like beehives. Today, as I pay a visit to the local leadership of Harran, I enter one of these houses belonging to a Harranian nobleman to discuss matters. It is the largest of its kind, and more of a mansion. I mean, that background there, that's what those beehive houses looks like in Harran. Although, a bit of a contradictory figure. Normally, the cynic in him would say, these are just ordinary. What's the fuss? But since he's compassionate and he's a well-traveled person, he'll say, fascinating buildings. They are beautiful. But now, let's get to the political situation at hand. Although, my original major goal was to revitalize the Neoplatonic Academy, which we will do that in this episode. But we have to form a kingdom first, which will do that also. But I'm thinking about, well, once you're done with these two, then what's next? Are you just going to end the series right in there? Actually, I kind of want to do it a little bit longer. Because look at the map of the Middle East ever since the dissolution of the Arabian Empire. It's open season at this point. I can just keep on expanding. Particularly to the areas where the other Harranian holy sites are. Like Baghdad, which is the big prize for me. And then we'll turn our attention to go to Babek, and who knows, maybe the possibility of going down to Egypt, even though it's still divided. Yeah, still largely divided. And some of them aren't even Muslims at all. Such as this one, they're Manichaeans. Yeah. And look like they will remain Manichaean. So it's something that tells me, like, here's gonna be the long term. So I don't know how long this character will be around, as he's in good health now, thanks to that cat of his. That would not only fight against the Karamites that still live in this part here. We don't plan on expanding eastward because of them. The Saffarids, in which those people who are Persians, like, they may be the next great power that we'll be worrying about. So, and plus there's so many broken down states, especially some of which are of not Sunnis, such as the Rabbinic Jews, the Persian Jews, and then there's the Karamites, as we mentioned before. So ideally, like, once we get most of Jazeera, and then we'll go down to Mesopotamia, which would later be known as the Kingdom of Babylonia, and then return our attention towards Syria, and then maybe bypass, Jerusalem. I mean, we'll get Jerusalem, and then be into Egypt. So I don't know if we are inadvertently creating a Neo-Assyrian Empire, as I'm of, Syriac culture, as it's distinct from, Assyrians themselves. And then there's the Syrian culture itself, which is diverged from the Levantine era. They also have Mamluk military. Gee. Guess that's unique in itself. But then again, the Syriacs are... So, let me see. You're the culture head. And you do serve me. And plus, you're Yazidi. But nevertheless, we'll get along. And it should be noted we're still clan government and will remain so. Which is useful to us because it gives us the ability to raid. If you have the Muslim Enhancements mod. Which I often use if I'm doing a playthrough that is set in the Middle East or North Africa. I guess I'm above my domain limit, and it's too many counties and I'm suffering overextension. So overextension is when you have more than 10 counties in your realm as a duke, you suffer an overextension penalty, reducing your tax income. Becoming king or emperor will remove this penalty. And we shall do so. Because on the 16th of February, today's that day. It's gonna cost you 500. Although I wish I could make it cheaper, but we kinda don't have time, right? Well, let me see. When is 2 years? Okay. Because look, here's the deal. There's this thing with reinforced relations with Silk Road communities, which we could do that on the 13th of September. And because what I need to go for is East Asian. And then get the contacts with the East Asians to decision to bring their specialists in. Because I recall it actually reduces the title creation cost just a small bit. So I'm thinking maybe I should just wait 2 years. 960 will be the year that the kingdom will be formed. But in the meantime, we should go raiding. After we reinforce, of course. Reinforce everybody. Maybe finally increase this size. You know, they're more expensive, but they'll be far more effective if we increase their size just a tad bit more. So, okay, fine. I can wait 2 years. We'll raid for 2 years' time. And maybe perhaps I should go on a grand tour for the first time in this series. Because I know I got some unruly vassals. He was the decision too. Stay up. Okay, give it a go ahead, even though I did not want to increase stress on myself, but don't worry, there are ways to negate this. As Xanthos trudges out of the stable, dragging her legs and hanging her head, there can be no doubt. The mare is sick. The stable master says there's a cure to be found for what ails her, but it comes with a hefty price. No price is too steep for my beloved Xanthos. We will be raiding. He's just a cat. Get over yourself. Yes, I can wait a tad bit longer. As a matter of fact, speaking of waiting, you know what else takes 2 years? Write another one of these scholarly treatises. Now, where's my quill? Because I'm eager to get started. Hey, I had this thought. I mean, since the new long-term plan for this series is to expand into Mesopotamia and into Syria and potentially into Jerusalem or Palestine to some, like them, the Philistine. I don't know what the Syriac or Aramaic name of it is, but Getting Egypt would be the big prize. Especially it's also the home to Giza, which buildings could be cheaper, which would be beneficial to me. Had the text back. That was my mother. She's doing well. Now, what would it be like if I was the owner of the pyramids? Just a renown. But I think you're better off to be the owner of Baghdad in the long term. Because you see this? House of Wisdom. Cultural fascination progress. Lifestyle experience. Renown. Learning per level of fame. See, all that will be very beneficial to me. Very much. Yamani, those are Yemeni. Okay, thanks, Ma. Stop texting me. I mean, I'm not that malicious towards it. Pay up, pay up, pay up. Okay, who else? Okay, that's a mess. Ransom. Even if I get hooks on you people. Save. Hook, hook, hook. Gold. Hook, 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 hook. Okay, mercenary contract expired. I was wondering how many times I'm gonna, repeat myself saying hook, 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 hook. Yeah, you're all mad at me, right? From neighboring Kabul. Well, I have to be nice here. Can't just be, a mean person all the time. Once we're fully reinforced, we go raiding again for the next year. And since I'm such a cheapskate these days, thinking maybe I should get this or get that, knowing that I'm going to be an expansionist, which will continue, so I think this would be ideal. Yes, I got lots of prestige, but it always comes at a price. Until the night turns. Everyone's noticed how Babaeus has been rather cheerful mood all day. No one seems to know why. Here he is. I privately ask him what's going on. With a shrug and smile, he tells me about a dream he had last night. I had a vision that the world was ending and the sky was falling and time was bending. I watched the heavens collide right before my eyes. What if the world dies with the sunrise? And yet, you are so cheerful, I say, confused. It was a fun dream, he admits, as I decided to go with it and enjoyed many pleasures before the end happened. Once suddenly there was compassion. Crud. He dreamt about the apocalypse and enjoyed it. I'll just say, that's a good attitude to have. Laugh in the face of danger. They moved from Nesvinus and go. So now it's Sunni again. Hey, since you're a Korean, would you mind becoming Harranian? That's because this is a new order, and Harranism is going to be the dominant faith of the region. Whereas I'm trying to get on your side. Trying to get on your side. Fully reinforced. Let's raid. We have a man for the job who's a reaver. Babaeus. I will remain home. We raided these areas, so now start here and work your way down again. All the way to Baghdad if you must. Yeah. And it does take a while to assemble the troops, because it takes longer due to the Dark Ages mod. Why the hell not? Spend most of the money and then we'll make it all back by raiding. Don't we have a better one? Hang on, try again. Ah, yes. You'll do. Because you are a powerful vassal. Now the Yazidi cooperates. "14 years? Need a better skilled shaman. Oh, and there's another thing I want to spend my money big on. Get a new physician. Oh, that's from Crete. No interest. Ignore that call. What took you so long? Let me see. You'll do. When memory takes shape, is not leaving this world eventually required, no matter his wealth and treasure acquired? When the final hour nears, wonder will life echo through the years. Ah. I can see that's truly heartfelt. How much is for a grand tour? Oof. That's a lot for an average cost. All the more reasons why we gotta start raiding for loot. And then we'll bring in the East Stage Specialist, and then we'll know what's the actual cost of forming a kingdom title rather than, 500. Today, a number of learned people from the local Himalayan community paid me a visit in order to give my court an interesting lecture on some of their traditional beliefs. principles, customs, literature, and history. Across the Silk Road, the exchange of ideas and cultures is nothing new, after all, though much of the information went over my head. And I'd learned some interesting things, and I hope this experience can help me further connect with those with ancestry from the Far East. It was productive, for sure. Major inspiration from the Silk Road civilization. That'll help. I finished writing on a treatise on a scholarly topic, which is hopefully another worthy Harranian contribution to learning. It is my hope that the knowledge I expounded upon in my work will be benefit to humankind. At the very least, it should bring me some fame and renown among the scholarly circles in the region. This is the Harranian treatise on Greek philosophers, which gives you more learning. A treatise on ancient thinkers like Plato and Aristotle, written by Babaeus. I assumed that was his position. All the hosting lords and ladies from the realm near and far. Some opportunities to portray my vassal Botros in a good light have presented themselves. My lord, pray tell, who's the most gracious person you ever heard of? Him, of course! Land a character that needs a little more gold. Discover who he is on his own. Take that off. Where is... Temporary. Lot more learning. Again, I come from a long line of scholars. It's part of our heritage. Someone must have missed that the last time when we raided this area. Here. I looked down to see that my cat paws dropped the scroll at my feet. Sealed in my kinswoman, so I was think so. Here the curiosity skim text. The deviant Syriac committee. Well, that's my kinswoman. He thinks she was hiding such a thing. Learned the secret, but I ain't gonna use it. Kurdi Kuramite peasants moved into Talbasma. Strange since this comes to me again all of a sudden. I feel as if somewhere someone just said something unflattering about me. It's the first time they appeared over here. I remembered that we can just raid and go. Okay, what's the issue? She's worried about the pressure various factions of mine might exert on me to assemble a costly General States in order to discuss matters of long-term policy concerning everyone. And acknowledge this Chris will only be voice of my treasury supports this venture. It is clear from a political point of view that I will reap additional rewards in terms of prestige and chance of success if I'm the one taking that decision instead of reacting to their demands. Well, thanks for the worry. I'll think about it, because I know it's costly. But we're going to form the Kingdom Tower, then revitalize the Academy. Evening falls and the temperature is rather chilly. I go to my warm hearth to keep myself warm, edge close to the fire. On the second time, I'm staying too close to the fire and getting too hot, and I decide to take a few steps back. But as soon as I do so, it seems I'm too far from the fire and I can feel the chill. I keep moving back and forth, trying to find the right distance between myself and the fire. It's either too hot or too cold. Well, maybe I will just head off to bed early today then. Bandits running rampant. I'll head to this side and then work your way down there. And then go into Baghdad and loot all around it. Sacred gifts. The leaders of the local Himalayan community have presented me with the most spectacular gift of Semitic religious objects, with statues inlaid with precious items, colorful paintings, and other similar items. Though not everyone in their community necessarily shares the same beliefs, people of the many faiths lived with one another along the Silk Road for centuries, sometimes peacefully, sometimes warring against each other. So it is unsurprising these notables know exactly what kind of religious artifacts to present to me. Most welcome gift. A sword strikes across my chest plate, an elbow slams on my helmet, a soldier easily avoids my clumsy counter, and a mock battle rages around me, but I struggle to find my focus. I'm tempted to let my guard down as soon as fighting lulls, but I know a second assault's just about to begin. Meet the assault head on. I've stumbled and injured myself. It's alright. At least you can give it a try. See, even while you begin to move, you're still raiding. That's the trick. Paul's is not as young as he once was. As he crawls into my lap, I could feel him trembling. I gently stroke his brown fur, listen and purr longer to the night. But as silence falls, I know that he won't wake again. Ah, crud, I can't pet him anymore. I would never ever do that, cause it ain't worth it. I'm just taking up space. To make it a quarter back. I'll miss you, Pauls. I'll miss the fact that the castle will soon be filled with rats again. My eldest, Raz. Her energetic nature was thought to be a sign of affinity for war and combat, but perhaps it was simply unruliness. She only developed a basic understanding of the subject, but he should learn the essentials of managing an army. We can all hope that the rest will come with experience. A tough soldier and a holy warrior. And now, to Baghdad, the big prize. And after that, we should have everything filled. 15 gold. I have ridden, taken aim, and struck so many times I thought nothing could upset my rhythm. Let's take yet another gallop down a practice range of commotion I cannot fully see mixing a horse wheel. For an instant, momentum gives me pin in the back of the horse as it starts shaking. Then, as the time was flowing, so I could feel myself becoming dislodged. Calm down, girl. Calm down. I could feel myself being thrown left and right, but no motion can make me loosen my grip in the reins in the saddle. My commands eventually soothed the horse, and the animal went back to stomping eagerly on the hard-packed ground, as stable as ever. Such a forceful beast. Don't even think about it. We're on our way back now. 100 gold. And then here comes 300 plus more. Position yourself in Nineveh. New ways and values. So after spending so much time with his guardian, Nahal, excuse me, it's become clear that my child Elisha adopted her culture. I don't mind. The thing is, though, and you become Sunni. Who's your guardian again? Oh. You ought to be careful who you appoint as guardians next time. Matter of fact, it's not the culture that I mind. What I do mind you is that you're a Muslim, not Harrani. We are an independent realm, so I suggest you change this faith back. There are a few things I enjoy more than last company. We walked to town together, tossed the coin in the pool, and forgiving the daring pickpocket. A few acts of charity and forgiveness can truly ease a stressed mind. After this short break, I was once again ready to take on my duties. I'm lucky to have a friend like Maya. Spending time with Maya is always good for me. Stop being a raiding army for the time being, and watch out. Wondering what the Caliph is up to, so therefore army will be raised for the time being. Stop right there. Let's bring in the East Asians, just erudites, respected by many. The lands and seas of the so-called Silk Road have been a vibrant melting pot of different peoples for generations, perhaps even before the rise of the great empires of Han, Rome, or Persia. Thanks to these extensive networks, there are flourishing communities with origins from across Eurasia, even in my realm. Cooperating with them may be helpful if I am to achieve my ambitions. In particular, I decided to reinforce relations with the East Asian communities in my realm. A lot of these people come from the lands far away, particularly the Middle Kingdom, which is claimed by many for being the land of justice and learning, one that is no equal among the realms of the world. Their knowledge and connections to the East will prove advantageous. And now here's the one that would benefit me. Bring in East Asian specialists. Now I've been networking with the local East Asian communities in my realm. I should ask them to help me find talented people from their homelands to come here. From scholars to engineers, strategists to calligraphers. There's so many kinds of experts from afar who I could entice to work for me. I gain a little bit of renown for this, and that's one thing, but East Asian specialists. Several experts in the Middle Kingdom or other nearby lands influenced by their culture have been recruited to work for this community. They possess a variety of skills related to administration, law, public works, strategies, and more. So stewardship and learning are up. Title creation cost -50, so it's cheaper. And vassal opinion and popular opinion goes up a bit more, as I'm in great need of talented people. In the present era, there are many along the Silk Road who believe that the peoples of the Far East have to be experts in administration and skilled in fine arts and learning. Perhaps such assessment is a great exaggeration. Based on fanciful tales and questionable stereotypes, there is no doubt that many talented people live in those regions. Anyways, due to my connections with the local East Asian community, I come into contact with some rather talented individuals with abilities in a wide variety of fields, ranging from poetry to hydraulics, history, agriculture, military logistics, and more. A number agreed to work with me in my administration. Their skills will greatly assist me in managing my territories. So now, during such a time, let us form this kingdom now. Instead of 500 gold, it is now 425. See, that's much more reasonable. Let us do it. Now, mighty Amiruta. Amiruta. That is the Syriac or Aramaic language equivalent for king or whatever it is. Because that word Amir kind of, you know, what that comes from. It's of Arabic origin. And Amiruta, same thing. They're called the same thing then. And now I'm known as the Meticulous. Why do they call me that? Attention to detail is important, and a lack of it demonstrates a failing of character, at least according to you. So, let us visit this royal court of mine. Obviously, it's Middle Eastern themed. Get it up to a normal standard. Knowing that we make a lot of money now as we're no longer overextended. And even with the raised armies, it's still pretty good. You can either make it a scholarly court, if you could get up to like level 1 is inspired characters will arrive at court more frequently. Level 4, courtiers and guests will like it more. Level 7 is a monthly lifestyle experience. If you get it all the way up to the max, learning per level of fame, house 1, courtiers and guests and all that. And may gain scholarly courtiers. Alternatively, you could change it to a more of an administrative court where building, construction, time, and cost is reduced, while promote cultural acceptance effectiveness goes up more. 7, development growth in the realm capital. And courtiers can gain administrative courtier. Since I'm stewardship intensive these days. I have a feeling we should go for administrative. Scholarly sounds nice and all, and I mean, we are of a philosopher culture, that's what we're going to be soon, but we don't have to necessarily be a scholarly court. So this is going to be more of an administrative court, because the building, construction, cost, and time needs to be reduced. Because I have neglected my realm slightly for not improving newer buildings. And a court language will be Aramaic. And I have no court artifacts to speak of. So that's something we gotta take into consideration. So, there you go. I'm officially the kingdom now. And what is this kingdom called? I didn't get to read. The Al-Harani Amiruta. Al-Harani. Oh, I forget, because it's clan. So, it's possible that unofficially the kingdom is Amiruta Jazir. It could be called unofficially Jazira and Jaziran. I'll change it off recording because I would think calling it Assyria would be more proper. I was just texting back. Okay. So, it could be called the Kingdom of Al-Harani, but it says the Al-Harani Amiruta. It's a interesting pronunciation from the Aramaic language. But the task is not done here, obviously. There's still many more places to expand, such as Again, we plan on fighting wars all around us. Against the cavalry to go to there. Matter of fact, get this part and then you'll be straight to Baghdad, but it's this bit that's what separated us. So I ought to be careful. They're both into this together, as it's negotiated. And they're both in fine health. As I said, Mesopotamia would be the next target. And let's not forget the other thing that's important on this very day of September 27th. And also, did I mention, look at me with this new crown that I'm wearing. Obviously, visiting Greek influence. Because again, the fashion is Byzantine and Arabic. The coat of arms is Byzantine. And the military equipment is Arabic. But one thing I do like is this symbol here. I do like that for a kingdom. And now, let us revitalize the Neoplatonic Academy. So I will ensure that the Neoplatonic Academy of Harran will never fade to obscurity. For centuries, the Neoplatonic Academy has been teetering on the brink of irreversible decline. Though it has survived for now, we cannot wait, and must act to reverse this trend and restore the school to its rightful place as the heir to the ancient philosophers. So I will ensure that it remains the center of learning for generations to come and will not decline. I will gain more piety for this. As I'm 40 years old, for the rest of my life, I will revitalize the Neoplatonic Academy in Harran. So if any leader has done the most for pagan scholarship, surely it'll be this Courtier. It is almost certain that their efforts to restore the Neoplatonic Academy to its proper place in the world shall be heralded by learned and pagan men and women for centuries to come. God dang it. I almost, was trying to, again, still takes it. But hey, at least this gives me a little bit of my lifestyle experience and cultural fascination progress especially. And down in Harran, the Neoplatonic Academy has been recently revitalized for the system of a forward-thinking ruler. As a result, scholars are flocking to the region as it becomes a major center of learning and the arts. So again, as before we finally make this official, you have to be Semitic or Greco-Roman or Kemetic or Amazigh. It's one of these pagan faiths that you can be allowed to do so. You have to be a kingdom title, kingdom rank, which you don't have to be independent, but based on these circumstances, we are independent. And you have to have the title Haranu, but you don't have to necessarily have that as a capital. You just have to at least have the title and live there. Either or. The level of splendor is no worry, and I am a devoted servant, about to become a paragon of virtue after I enact this. The world cannot fall into darkness, as we'll tell you this historical context one more time. The Academy at Harran is perpetually intellectually descended from the Neoplatonic Academy based in Athens. That itself claimed intellectual descent from the original academy established by Plato. Whether true or not, Haranian intellectuals played a major role in the court of the Abbasids, courts as scientists, astrologers, physicians, and more. Historically, it seems to have declined and vanished sometime in the 11th century, as the remaining Haranian pagans converted to the other religions like Islam. And here we are in 960, just 40 years short before this would never come back, but now it's being revitalized. revitalizing the Academy in Harran. I have pulled together a large number of funds and resources and brought together many learned men in order to rejuvenate the Neoplatonic Academy of Harran. For too long we have let this inevitable institution languish. Now it is up to us to restore it to its former glory. Our goal will be to renovate the physical structure of the Academy's campus, as well as establish a secure and vibrant large community of learned scholars, mostly pagans, but others will be welcome as long as they have an open mind. Though it will take some time, the Academy shall endure. It is for the betterment of mankind. So the Neoplatonic Academy will never decline, and Harranian courtiers will continue to appear in the Middle East to further the cause of learning. As a reminder, because we still have not gotten an event where Harranian courtiers show up. Occasionally, Harranian characters can randomly appear via events for rulers in the Middle East. They follow the Harranian pagan religion, an ancient syncretic faith combining Mesopotamian and Hellenic elements that has survived for centuries in the city of Harran, which is in northern Mesopotamia. Harranian characters tend to have a high learning skill and make valuable courtiers. Sometimes your Harranian courtier might compose academic treatises on various topics. These grant you a special artifact. Harranian characters will stop spawning if the Neoplatonic Academy declines. So instead, they will exist for the rest of this playthrough. So let me take a drink. For generations, the Neoplatonic Academy in Harran has been the last vestige of the ancient world, located in the rugged hills of northern Mesopotamia. That scholars could claim intellectual descent from Neoplatonists, or Neoplatonists, of the Roman Empire, who in turn traced their lineage all the way back to Plato himself. Alas, for years the Academy suffered from an inevitable decline, given how the region was dominated by non-pagans. However, fortune now smiles on the Academy. The wise Amirota Babaeus has pulled together resources to revitalize the Academy by renovating its physical space and attracting many bright scholars to live there. Though it may never rival the House of Wisdom in Baghdad, nor compared to the original Platonic Academy, Harran's Academy now has a guaranteed future as a center of learning. So it was written in the stars. So it is, so it is. But now we must continue to expand in the near future in order to ensure that the strength of this is backed by it, as well as shifting alliances to here and there. Saucy readings. Lately I can't help but notice the gaggles of giggling maidens and usually austere warriors gathering in the dark alcoves to listen, enraptured to a book. Today I finally courted Shapira with a book of her hands. Clearly a sentence text, filled to the brim with sensuous temptations, earthly seductions, and simple monsters. I am silent as I ponder the probable reaction of my high shaman, Dovsha, and Shapira stares at me with apprehension. Culture comes in any form. Let him read. This option is available because of my high learning skill. At least it'll make the court grandeur jump up a bit. And all of my unchaste courtiers and guests will be pleased. Good start. A little too late for this. Can get additional skills and become friends. That's a little too late for that. But I always go for this. Again, with the Dark Ages mod active, people tend to get sick pretty frequently. So it would be better to have your court physician just not screw up on their treatments. My goodness. Independence War. Just this small entity there that wants to break away. Tyranny, liberty, claim. Shambles, I tells you. Somehow they're still up there. Didn't they hold that, or am I crazy? Right. Yeah, I could start a grand tour and make the vassals feel pleased. And this will also be a great way to reduce my stress, so let me consider that. But of course, everything's expensive now because as you are a kingdom, the costs keep going up. And what about the other decisions that could be related to kingdoms that has added that I don't think I've seen yet? No, nothing new. Not to my knowledge. Except to scrape the barrel to put somebody in a court position. Ah, yes, the lands of the unruly Assyrians and Christians now. Should go a grand tour up there. So, this would be the first time that this would be seen in this series. So if we go on a Majesty tour, some events will allow Majesty actions. Antiquities or Prestige, Vassal Opinion, both when departing from a stop and the end of my grand tour. Or the Intimidation tour where it allows dreadful actions. So Antiquities are in dread, and when you depart from the stop you may attempt to force vassals out of hostile factions. Or Taxation tour, where Antiquities earns gold from both when departing from the stop and end of my grand tour. So I'll go for Majesty. This grand tour will be an opportunity to show my subjects that I am a just, benevolent, and majestic liege, and that he is. So I'll go to here, there, and there. I should host a dinner over there. But as for those two, I think culture acceptance will be fine with the Assyrian people. Tal Razwan, yeah. These two should be cultural festivals, and the last one, dinner. I guess she'll do. Gonna be safe though. Don't want any danger to happen to me. Trip's too short to make it matter for a Silk Road merchant, so don't bring them. But you know what? Because I'm a diligent and compassionate person, I'll just be safe and be incautious. Although there might be a good chance that someone's gonna get me, but I wouldn't worry too much. Now what would it be? Recreation, actually. Because I am stressed so much that I want to focus on reducing stress. That's why I'm traveling around a little bit. 5 close courtiers, or 10, which will give me prestige. I'll bring on everybody. this. So no increased success to tour. Essential luxuries that decreases. Success. Extravagant. Luxurious. Excessive. You know what? Practically every artifact and piece of furniture will be brought along to this tour to demonstrate my tremendous wealth. Just to show it's like, hey, I'm the man who has formed the kingdom, and I'm also the man who revitalized the Neoplatonic Academy. So just to go to show, be bringing everything with me. So why the heck not? And it's only going to be a modest entourage, as my tour is not merely for me, but also for my court. I must bring a small entourage to make my vassals more familiar with my courtiers. Which those who will be coming with me are obviously my caravan master, my Gashosta, my concubine, one of my heirs, and my main wife, son, another concubine, daughter, Syrian Christian woman, court physician, and of course, the heir, Ezekiel. Only bringing a select few. So let us begin. But keep watch in case what the cause of the sun. It's time to depart for my grand tour of Jazir. My court is packed, ready, and raring to go. Our first stop will be my vassal, Wali Butros Cosmo, over in Tal Basra. I look forward to visiting him and seeing my realm, one holding at a time. I'm certain that the Harranian Rutas subjects will speak benevolence for a long time to come. I suppose we must. Due to my activity options, you gained this big amount of prestige off the start. As soon as we just left, my valued Gazosta came with serious information regarding a valuable asset in our spy network in the court of Hamir of Jumba. Who, what, where? From Coasmia. That's been providing accurate information about the region's political environment. Unfortunately, my Exosa was informed that this important agent is now being discreetly investigated by the agents of the Hamir of Jumba. And probably in a matter of months, she will be arrested, interrogated, and certainly tortured to reveal unvaluable truths about my spy network, and among other valuable information. Another agent of mine is already in place to kill the burned agent, thus securely preventing the worst to happen. Of course, given their service so far, maybe I could consider a rescue mission personally led by Scosta, but the outcome is far from being certain. I don't know about you. You are deceitful. So, it depends on her intrigue, which is excellent, whether she is shrewd or dull. I'll also be placing the life of her on the line. So I want you to attempt to rescue her. Which there was improvement, but you don't have an intrigue education. It's just you happen to be good at it. Go get her. Cultural festival in Tal Basra. The streets of Tal Basra are richly decorated for my revel, and my vassal, Wali Butros, dutifully awaits me. Ah, how I yearn to delight myself with the great activities that Joyce so much was prepped, and to show these people the extent of my magnificence. Let's start. This is a cultural festival activity. So, the Syriacs and the Assyrians will like us a bit more, thus getting a bit of acceptance. Which again, we're practically brothers. We speak the same language, we have the same heritage. It's just we speak different dialects, one would think. And we have different cultural traditions, even though we're trying to emulate them more. See, I'm improving your land. Look at that. As I walk down the street to Talbaza, my concubine Hanana is pointing what seems to be known as St. Matthew's Fishmonger's Guild. The smile quickly appears on her face this way. A group of apprentices are kneeled down in front of the workbench. The master supervises the craft from the lintel to the door, arms crossed, chin up. You'll need a bit more strength for that, son. Hana takes a step in the direction, completely mesmerized. The two became friends. Huh. See this? Options like these, you can actually improve the development of the lands of your vassals if you are a man of a lot of money and you are generous. I mean, that would I be willing to do so. $28 Seneschal. Oh, if you picked up Architect and as a Seneschal, that would definitely be helpful. Go ahead, Hanana. Pay him a visit. She became an architect. Excellent. One second. 7 days. My goodness. Look at this. If you could get the Majesty towards success all the way. The amount of renown you can gain. I'm so glad we have been expanding as of late. So I could take grand tours over certain parts of the country. Learned Arabic. The rescue of the former secret agent proved smoothly. This time she's being debriefed in a safe place. My Gazosta recommends a minor sum to be offered in recognition for all hard work and loyalty. Oh, please don't be a 50. Okay, I mean, if you gave her the reward, which I'll be broke, of course, for a few months, by picking that option, your vassals are not greedy, vengeful, wrathful, or sadistic, which you are not any of these, we'll approve your decision, getting a positive reaction modifier towards you. If I'm greedy, vengeful, wrathful, or sadistic, which I ain't any, just have a stress penalty. But nobody says nothing, so I'll just say, excellent job, Orda. Just excellent job. You're a nice old lady. And we're improving the income a little more after the construction of these buildings. Ezekiel increased his prowess. You know you're going to be one of learning, but you still have that bravery in you. Successor, champion of the one. It's this man. Lost to glory. A parting demand. I've concluded my royal visitation at Tal Basra, and now my procession prepares to depart. All the Butchers at Tal Basra and his court have all lined up neatly to see me part. And with everyone present, it's time to collect tribute, bestowing of my presents. Well, you know, he's nice to me and he's terrified, so it's time for a tribute, so it's highly likely he'll have to accept. Spread of prestige, I get renown. But if you reject me, I'm going to have to get rid of you. Because I'm tired of your infernal melancholic ass. Pay up. And you gave in. And of course you do. So my grand tours become more majestic, and Leo Talbaza gains popular liege. So there's your prestige. Now we travel around the mid in the middle of the winter. My friend just died. Here's another cultural festival here in Mayafargun. At least your proper is Harranian. So let's start. Grand Tour becomes more majestic due to my benevolent presence. first. I'm watching you. Troops are just stationed here, not budging. Capital artifact. Even with all the effort, as we clearly put into the vessel, I could still notice some abandoned houses and poor materials here. When I approach the main square, I see that Marion, how you say their name, has been surrounded by a group of kids, eager to ask about our entourage. They immediately hide the moment they see me. I brought from this capital, if anyone cares to see, I say. Show them around the raft of Al Harranian I brought with me. Magnificent, she says, as the kids come back to see it. Yeah, this thing here. As nice as this thing is, but honestly it has very little use for me for this work of poetry. In fact, you can keep it. So you'll be the owner of it, and this grand tour will become more majestic. There you go. Is that all they're gonna raid? Once I return from the grand tour, we'll start the next war. All the fun. Man, even while disband, we make a lot. Wants to write about revelry. Alright. Skills made her decent. Hey, check for me. You got it. It's about time we start putting court artifacts in here, so we could start making this court grand. 'Tis the season. Streets singing with tapestries. Ah, the smell of freshly cooked beef. No way my father shines during this time of year. What singing, shouting, and revelry. My lord, come celebrate with us, says my with a welcoming smile. On the square the locals have gathered. They dance amid the pungent aroma of spiced wine and a bowl of stew. Let's drink some Shiraz White. Drink and forget. Oh yeah. Because I'm an eager reveler. Should be holding feasts instead of just traveling to somewhere. But the next one's about to be the feast, so it'll be worth it. You brawled? Heck. The women fought each other. You like me well enough, so it's about time you pay me tribute. If you don't accept it, then, you know what's gonna happen to you, right? I'm gonna possibly revoke your title. Possibly, because, you know, committing a crime and not giving me tribute. Now listen, I may be a compassionate person, but, I even have my limits. Thank you. And now instead of a culture festival, we're gonna have a feast, just to reduce the stress even more, because I'm getting sick and tired of being stressed. Because you may never know, I'll just have a heart attack and die. I mean, it's possible. So remember, there's a good chance that we want to check the strength of two entities, Samarra and Baghdad. And that would mean I would have to appoint vassals, with the exception of Baghdad. Settling in for dinner. I received a welcome worthy of me wrote at the gates of Naxharowi Badzad's castle in Bakria. There's little doubt the splendor of my trains made a great impression. My vassal dutifully receives Vivaldi records of reference difference. Badzar explains that the planned evening banquet, promising the entertainments and victuals on offer near the standards of my own court's dinners. She assures me this will be the finest food she has to offer. Well, let's begin then. It is morning. I emerge reluctantly into the waking world as the morning sun suddenly pierces my vision. I see a servant shoveling awkwardly around my room. Unsteady as she sets my breakfast down beside me, I ask what troubles her. Even with such mental provocation, she begins to vomit words for, "Oh, my wise kinda and kinda Miruta, these walls talk. Oh, what terrible things they say. I know so much, too much I think some days. Ahagro, he might about Korea. But never forgive me, I told you. But I just can't keep these secrets in my head anymore." You should just keep your mouth shut. Guess it's just a normal dinner, nothing, out of the ordinary. Rivalries made, friendships made, dreams of a better one. This evening I'm seated next to our courtier, Arvik, watching as she sighs over a plate of lung. Truly, I grow tired of life here in Bakria. I long to elevate my station in life. My talents are wasted here, and I've been thinking of slipping off with you back to Harran, where I could really show what I'm worth. Her laments seem genuine, but can I really steal from her court? I don't know about you. I could be a shoulder to cry on at least. Made a friend. By the end of this, we'll gain 800 prestige and 75 renown. So I concluded my royal visitation of Bakria. Now research prepares to depart. She and our court have all lined up to see me part, and with everyone present, time to collect tribute, bestowing our presents. Time for tribute. Come on. Yeah. Good. Everybody well behaved, and I'm on my way home. Because lately, feels like I'm being constantly distracted by lavish shots and erotic fantasies. Yep, sounds like him. Of all the hardships of my everyday life, it's all too easy to lose myself in daydreams and forget about reality. These desires are clearly interfering with my life. What should I do about them? Maybe a different kind of outlet will help. Be athletic. Thus stress is reduced. Yeah, better. So there you have it. 300 prestige. And since I visited my capital, I gained the stewardship lifestyle experience as is an administrative court. I gained 100 renown for that. That was brilliant. And now I am here. Can't wait for that book. But look at the amount of monthly income we make. Are the lands that we hold are really that developed? Well, you just wait till we get down to Baghdad. Especially that I would like to hold personal control over it. Oh, I await for the day. But we must find out about their true strength before you even think about fighting such wars. We have an antiquarian, yeah? Yes, you're correct. 1,700 men. That's how much they have. Now, to Baghdad. And replace the high shaman with someone who's more highly skilled. It takes less long to convert. What the? So they created a separate kingdom of Cyprus, independent from visiting control. You actually traveled to here. So, come on in. I patiently wait on my throne for the arrival of Compatibility, who will soon announce an usher before me. He kneels in deference, offering nothing but his oath and faithfully serve as the vassal of Emir. Last I bid him arise, confirm my satisfaction and his rights to align the rules of my state. Serve me well. Must take every moment to practice. Could have sworn I thought I had this changed. I guess that's because I changed courts and I didn't apply it. Way to go, dummy. Now apply it. There has to be average everything. Although when we expand more, it's highly likely that all this will increase. My old childhood friend died in childbirth after having 3 children. All my old childhood friends are dead, but now, at least, we'll be making new ones in the future. But do not start a war till we know its true strength. We know it's 1,700 of this, and this is about 3,000 with possible mercenaries. But I think the strain will be similar overall, unless we bring allies. Yipe. Again, they kept moving to Talbazma. Hakari. What you got there? You got a claim? Oh, Hakari, right. But I would prefer a holy war for county. We can't do duchy, because that means you have to pick either of those two. I could need an excuse just to fight that temporary, just to expand, and appoint a new vassal there, and then we'll turn our attention towards there. So, let us go. My lord, look at that ink. The colors, the saturation. I've never seen such fine quality before. A beneficiary Bohunka breaks away from a market precision, costs the merchant seller, coveted item, a static over her fine. With this, my project will reach new heights. I could create something truly marvelous. Please, my Mimota, bestow this gift upon me. You got it. Your project's worth investing in. That book that you're writing better be of high quality. I didn't have time to further contribute to your inspiration because I was out on tour. My man Ezekiel, despite being a curious child, eager to learn, his touch drifted elsewhere as he grew older. Hardly studious, he at least managed to memorize certain choice quotes from the classics. He will probably never write any great theorems, but he might read one or two. An insightful thinker, huh? It'll do. If only that could be improved upon, but that's not coming until the Wards and Wardens DLC later this year, where you have the ability to go into universities to improve your, education as a young adult. Reminds me of the old university mod that I used in Crusader Kings 2. Loved that. Right, all we have to do now is take the objective and then we will be golden. Right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get together, leave a besieging army up in Hakari, and then we'll go down and deal with them in Nineveh. My lord, the beneficiary Bohunka smiles and gestures me over with ink-stained hands. My book, my masterpiece is finished. Behold, a beautiful tome that shows a modest understanding of revelry as it touches upon subjects such as the art of feasting. The cover is wood, and that has been painted to display a repeating image of a zoomorphic motif. Well, it's a court artifact, so that's a good start. It doesn't contribute to courtly grandeur, but at least Courtier and Guest will explain a bit more, so I'm impressed. You made an excellent book of excellent lettering. Put that here. Now, on with the war. Break away. Leave those behind who are going to remain in the siege there while we go engage the enemy army. Old age. Yeah, you better run to your place. Monty, flamboyant trickster. Hillet. Is she doing it for the wand or fame? That is because just is a virtue in our religion. Aha! Gotcha. They're the ones with the better commander. Well, we shall deal with that, because you're dealing in my turf. Because you see, I have the advantage that is in my territory. We're taking more casualties, but that doesn't deter us. Their advantage is much higher because of the martial skill and the battle roll and major intel from the Silk Road. And he's been sparring recently. He is reckless. What major contact? Bodyguard who is a mercenary scholar. Major intel from Silk Road community. Is that her or is that him? No, it's him. So that gives him a little more advantage. We don't know what community he hired from, but it's all in the past. Unfortunately, many will live. But we got him. We're about to have the objective. We'll soon head up to Tabriz. Or just make it back away and just chase him down. I step out of my tent and rub my eyes. Siege camp sprawls out before me. The chaos of improvised creation simmering, gold in the low morning light. Flags hang limply in the rain, fogged air, whipped now and then by wind. It smells of smoke and sweat and horse dung. My Lord Retainer approaches and informs me that the siege has ended. I gather my bodyguards and head to the edge of the camp. The Otak of Hakari stands for me, a charnel house. In the fields between the trees and flax are flattened. Houses and barns are reduced to kindling. Giant wooden doors hang in twisted, charred black frames. The windows of the tall stone keep are strewn like silvers of broken glass onto the cobblestone street. And blood-blackened wreckage sits propped in piles in abandoned doorways. Fried survivors huddled in half-burned houses. I doubt any of them are important. But we can have a look at them. I mean, I could decide by case-on-case basis, but I'm just looking up everybody of who I would bring. Most of them are just elderlies. You there. Give me him. The rest of you are getting released. Huh. Unless you got money in it. Remember the name, Fazad. Unless they have certain skills that might be of use for me. And more importantly, you got money? Because I know it's a little too much, but you can go. You can go. Honestly, you could be in prison and I'll later recruit you. Release. Release. You could be in prison and I will recruit you. This is a guest. You're the one that I want. Again, you might be of some use to me. A little far separate, so do you think we should take Kurdistan instead? Move out. Just get to work on it and then we'll be the ones to do combat. Your Honor? As for you two, remain in house arrest. Don't go anywhere. We'll do something with you after the war. I'll go for this instead of this because wars of expansion will continue, and it's going to cost us a lot of prestige. Come on, hurry up and get in here. It's a level 5 fort. Got a small hill fort. And we'll disengage and deal with the enemy up there. Especially that we do it on higher ground. My goodness, it takes longer to get moving. We gotta cut them off over there. Yes, it does have a defender advantage. And yes, chances are even. But as long as I have defender advantage, that's good. Don't let him escape. You know, it's kind of hard to move a big body of troops over one place to the other. You're not going anywhere. You may have the hills, but we've taken over Kurdistan. Level 4, level 5. Okay, Urmi is next. I step out of my tent. The siege camp sprawls out before me. A muddy square of ragged canvas, and a sea of anthills of wood fire smoke, of leather armor, of rust and dung. Pennants snap at a stiff breeze. Shouts and cries ring through the damp air. My low retainer approaches and informs me that the siege is ended. I gather my bodyguards and head to the edge of the camp. The old tack of Talhaf Tun stands before me. Oh, smoking pyre. A grey shadow amid the remains of my conquering army. A desolate wasteland of parched fields and smoking hovels dotted with blood and perversion. Witnesses to a nightmare beyond hell itself. The fields in between, empty carts and toppled carriages are mired in the mud. The axe is splintered. The horses are nowhere to be seen. Smoke rises from the burnt hovel. Windmills that have once stood here in the open fields have been stripped of their sails. Their splintered timbers rammed into the ground like bone claws. Vultures circle overhead. Survivors huddle, speechless and panic-stricken, around any fire. Just as a frightened fox runs to its hiding place, the acrid odor of burnt flesh and thatch, blended with the coppery flavor of blood cake dust, clings in the air. Anybody that should be of note? That'd be useful to me. This man. You're coming with me. The rest of you will be released. And now a battle is to be fought here. And I hope the skill of our comrades will best them. This is her. Capture her and we win the war. But we're taking more casualties, obviously. They moved from Kabul to Shingar. It's Sunni again, instead of Estonian Christian. Let's reunite with the others. Teachings of the common soldiers. During this dark period of war, it became apparent to me that That much would be gained by mingling with the common soldiers, sergeants, and men-at-arms, debating tactics with them, checking with whom they're capable of better interacting in the battlefield, their specific capabilities and liabilities. Of course, mingling, discussing ideas, and even worse, seeking advice as a common soldier will affect my prestige, which corners me into a dilemma, as certain on the other hand, bypassing this opportunity will stress me. I'll approach my men, having in-depth leadership, so by mingling and studying tactics with the common soldiers, sergeants, and men-at-arms, it's carried to gain significant knowledge about how the army fights better. Because yes, we have taken quite a bit of casualties fighting against these people. And it should be noted they're Sogdians. If you wound them, their prowess skill will not go down. That's something that should be noted. They are tough people. And some of them are Kurdish, which the Kurds also have this tradition. And plus, they're known for, when they wander around, they'll improve their martial skill. So they're tough people. Not to mention a bit vengeful. Fortune builder for Petros. Back off. I think I get the impression it does travel a bit longer too. Yeah, it does take a month to travel through the mountains. Movement speed 50. Yeah. Compare that to, say, drylands. Movement speed's 100. Floodplains is 100. Hills 80. Okay, I get it. Now, the Syriac culture has embraced the philosopher culture tradition. Finally. Again, we're trying to be kind of like the Assyrians. In a way. And if I was to add another culture tradition, what would it be? We've got so much prestige, we can use it. I mean, I thought about taking it the Kurdish way and become swords of hire. That's a maybe. Or better yet, emulate like the back in my former culture. You know, they have the barbarism where it's like, yes, we may not have the men-at-arms, but they have the Desert War Commander trait, and this is the recruit training commanders. I mean, I thought about hybridizing with these people, but no, I think we're good on our own now. So I think it would be a very good idea to take this mode of warfare here. Warriors of the Dry, this is the equivalent of it. But we can't recruit any more of the barbarism. The men-at-arms, it's still a fixture in our army, but it will remain with us. So pick this. Because this culture does not have the bellicose, stoic, or communal, so it costs more, as we are spiritual. So this will make traveling across the desert mountains, and drylands a little less dangerous. But now there will be no danger of living in the drylands at all. Plus, we will have more supply limit and levy size desert. This will take about another 13 years. Cannot establish that tradition because it's subject to recently end. Oh! You have to wait until another 50 years. Okay, fair enough. Just wanted this. Especially with the learning per level of fame. Again, just trying to be like our Assyrian brothers. Alright, we'll end the episode with this end of the war here. I step out of my tent and rub my eyes. A siege camp sprawls out before me. A teeming field of toiling men and beasts. Fierce flags bearing eldritch birds are spread across barren crags. It smells of smoke and sweat and horse dung. My low retainer approaches and voices at the siege is ended. I gather my bodyguards head to the edge again. The Otak of Urumi stands before me, a rusting heap of battle-torn horse, men, and steel. In the fields between the rotting remains of the dead men lie in heaps, tangled and contorting. Bodies where they died, charred, and twisted. Grieving widows and orphan children go to and from among the fallen. I know I kept sparing it, but you two don't mind, right? Good. Now, let's end this conflict. Seize all the territory that is part of the realm. But do not worry, I have a plan for Hakari. I don't want to hold that. At least not personally. Now, these prisoners. Bafam of Kurdistan. You are the spouse of it, right? So you want him back? No, you won't. You definitely, you will. Trust me when I tell you. You will. And as for you, my friend, I'm gonna recruit you here. Because you're the one that's gonna govern Hakari. At my stead. Because you are to represent the Kuramite minority in our kingdom. You will have the minority vassal stance, obviously. So, you'll thank me for this. Govern it well. And I'll see too that we can get along here. But again, we consider you evil, but you consider us hostile, so you don't hate us that much. Plus you're in a reasonable lot. And of course, since you just disbanded our army here, now I must be on my way back. Have to be. So we'll officially end this episode once I return to Haranu. Motherfuckers home to a famous wayside shrine I happen to be passing by today. Locals tell us that it isn't uncommon for travelers to spend even a few days praying there, for it is that doing so would ensure a safe passage for one strand. I'm not sure how helpful praying this side would be, but at least should pay my respects to the one while I'm here. Who's with me? Just me and the caravan master, okay. I'm stopping by the town to tell all my travels. The locals shower me with great esteem. People here did not expect someone like myself to visit their humble settlement. But some of the local leaders suggest spend a few days there. Their leaders wish to show me around here and leave a good impression on me about their town and the surroundings as well as the people who throw there. Good. I don't mind a slight detour. Okay, now I'm on. There you go. So, we'll end the episode on that note. I know we didn't expand too much this episode as forming this title and revitalize the academy. So, things are going to get better. So, we are most definitely a rising power here. And those who haven't succumbed to, the vassalization, well, it's highly unlikely that you would ask them, it's like, hey, would you like to swear fealty to me? He'll never say that. That's stupid. I mean, I'll even protect you religiously, and he'll say no still. No way, no how, they'll say. You know, you were us as hostile. I mean, look, you're reasonable. Give her faith, not rightful liege. Speak the same language, though. Your Armenian is at war. Again, nobody's going to accept that idea. Except maybe the Romans, but they'll not like that because we just recently waged war. Had we not waged war, and also the fact that she's stubborn and all that. Or even down there. And plus, we recently raided you, so there's another issue with that. Except maybe the weakest of entities, those are the ones that would accept vassalization. But we're so far apart from each other that they'll never accept it because of the distance. So don't go offering vassalization to others that you don't know about. Because you ain't going to get anywhere with that. And also making alliances is another way to have a possibility of trying to bring them in without a fight. And you ain't bringing those in, I can tell you that. Are you really alone? One title? Yeah. If it weren't for, you know, the distance, like, well, let's say, like, okay, we met here, we're right next to each other. And then he may consider accepting. Get his opinion up by presenting him gifts and such. He'll consider. So, in the next episode, we will continue on the wars of expansion as we will turn towards the direction down the Euphrates and the Tigris and eventually to Baghdad, hopefully one day. And I would love to hold it for myself. But of course it's going to need a lot more stewardship than what I already have. So we hope you people will join us in this next episode. But until then, so long for now.